Hello everybody and welcome to the final event of the MSCA Quaker State Late Model Series. We are here at Mesquite, Texas for the Devil's Bowl race, and looks like we're going to get right into it. Starting lineups for heat number 1. Chris Dodd and Jake Rogers make up row number 1. Zachary Fitzwater and Kyle Collins will take up row number 2. JT Hanley and Jack Porkins are going to be row 3. Eric Willis and TJ Hanley in row 4. Row 5 will be the 76 of Ferdinand Gavat. Right next to him in row 5 will be the 53 of Sam Rogers. Row number 6 is the 2-car of Cody Smart, and on his outside is the 24Y of Mike Serra. Lucas Tran here to defend his title and win the championship, starting row 7 inside, and on his outside is the 12A of Kyle Maxwell. And in the final row, all by his lonesome, is Kyle Maxwell's brother, the 12 of Daniel Maxwell. That is your heat number 1 lineup, so let's get right on into it as Chris Dodd leads him to the green. And Dodd takes that inside lane really quickly going into the lead. Jake Rogers kind of stuck on that outside as Zachary Fitzwater will take the inside away from him. And a lot of these tracks have been really bad for the outside line. This track, not so much. You can actually run the outside line and decently defend yourself, although at some point, if you stay up there, you're probably not going to get as much grip as on the bottom. But you can see the 98 still holding strong against that 59 car, as Lucas Tran already moving up through the field. Chris Dodd, however, pulling away from the rest of the field. He wants his drivers to finish in first in the championship. More than likely Nick Pericles, as he has the closest chance of anybody in the series right now of winning the championship. There are currently 6 drivers in this race for the championship. The 31 of Nick Pericles and the 83 who is in this race of Kyle Collins, who is 12 points back from the 4 car. However, the top 5 currently Chris Dodd, Chris Dodd, Zachary Fitzwater, Jake Rogers, JT Hanley, and the 604 of Eric Willis, who is passing Kyle Collins. Again, Collins just kind of stuck on the outside, got to get down to the bottom line in order to at least have somewhat of a chance. Now the 59 car of Zachary Fitzwater looks to be going for the lead, making a move to the inside lane. JT Hanley also trying to take over third from the 98 car of Jake Rogers. They're side by side down to the line, only a few laps left to go. However, the 83 car, he can see that 4 car in his mirror, as they do have one rear view mirror on these cars. Normally late models don't have rear view mirrors, but these cars are allowed to have rear view mirrors. 83 of Kyle Collins now getting past the 604 of Eric Willis. As we come down for the 2 to go sign, that would be the green flag flying, as the 83 car takes it down into turn 1. A lot of drivers like that high line for when they're just running, not trying to pass, but when you're trying to make a pass, you got to defend that low line. As the white flag is out, Zachary Fitzwater leading this race, and Kyle Collins currently in 5th. He has to defend his title hopes against the 4 car of Nick Pericles, or not Nick Pericles, against the 4 car of Lucas Tran, as the 59 of Zachary Fitzwater will win heat number 1, and Kyle Collins barely edging out the 4 car for the 5th spot. That's going to be how they end up in heat number 1. Zachary Fitzwater winning it, JT Hanley 2nd, Chris Dodd in 3rd, Jake Rogers 4th, and Kyle Collins will finish in that 5th spot, just barely defending off the 4 car of Lucas Tran. Heat number 2, Alex Tanker and Bob Shopke are going to start in row number 1. Dejan Weeks and Gabriel Wanderley, row number 2. Tanya Breyer trying to make one more feature event in row 3. Beside her is Henrietta Fitzwater. Roy Bruce and Nick Pericles in row 4, both trying to make up a championship win here. The 62V of Eric Hayden and the 6 of Matthew Brown will make up row number 5. Brock McMahon and Carson Scott in row number 6. The 21E of Patrick Curtis and the 224 of Callum Wood make up row number 7. Row number 8 is going to be the 5 car of Joshua Jones all by his lonesome at the tail end of the field. that's going to be your heat number 2 lineup as the 50 car leads them down to the stripe. Alex Tanker doesn't get as good of a jump. Well, I guess he did get as good of a jump as the 8 car of Chris Dodd, as he's now out to the front of the field. Dejan Weeks fighting with his car in the 334 of Shopke. Meanwhile, Alex Tanker pulling out to a pretty decent lead. 12B of Tanya Breyer, the 13B of Tanya Breyer, trying to make a one last feature race before she goes on to other kinds of racing. She's currently being in a pretty bad position where she's at with the American Ethanol Truck Series. Her team not really happy with her performance there. However, she has done a fairly decent job, considering she's sitting at least above halfway in points right now, currently holding that 5th spot. Gabriel Wanderley in 6th. However, Dejan Weeks making a nice pass against the 50 car of Alex Tanker. The 808 of Roy Bruce currently passing the 334 of Bob Shopke for 3rd. Roy Bruce has a pretty long way to go. He is, I believe, in 6th right now, either in 5th or 6th. He's one of the 2 cars that has to have the 4 car miss the feature in order for them to even have a chance at winning this race and the championship. Bob Shopke is the other driver that really needs the 4 car to miss the feature in order to win the championship. However, if he doesn't, he'll probably end up defending the trying to defend the championship from the 31 and the 83. Jack Porkins almost in that boat. However, if the 4 car, something were to happen to the 4 car, Jack Porkins really needs to get really lucky in order to make the championship happen. He's 20 points back from the 4 car in 4th place. So, a lot needs to happen for Porkins to win. It could happen, it might not. Meanwhile, this top 5 is just pulled away from the rest of the field. Roy Bruce, ensuring that he's going to make this feature event, is sitting in the lead right now as they take the white flag. 1 more lap to go for the 808 of Roy Bruce. Bruce diving it down into turn number 1. Heading down the back stretch. Shopke trying to get up to 3rd now against the 50 car of Alex Tanker. In this top 5, pretty much separated from the rest of the field, will finish. Tanya Breyer going to finish in 5th. Roy Bruce going to take the feature win, or the heat race win. Here's your heat number 2 transfers. The 808 of Roy Bruce will win the race. Dejan Weeks in 2nd. Bob Shopke in 3rd. Alex Tanker 4th. And Tanya Breyer making that one last feature that she's been looking forward to in the 5th spot. Now for your LCS lineup, Nick Pericles and Jack Porkins will start out on the front row. Eric Willis and TJ Hanley in row number 2. Sam Rogers and Gabriel Wanderley will make up row number 3. Lucas Tran and Ferdinand Gabat will make up row number 4. Patrick Curtis, Daniel Maxwell will make up row 5. Henrietta Fitzwater and Carson Scott are going to make up row number 6. Cody Smart to the inside of row 7, and on his outside is the G5 of Brock McMahon. Matthew Brown in the 6 will start inside row 8, and Eric Hayden will be to his outside. Cal Maxwell, Callum Wood will make up row number 9. And in the final row, the 24Y of Mike Serra and the 5 car of Joshua Jones, again mired at the back of the field in row 10. And the field is green for the last chance showdown. Pericles wanting to make it into this feature event, wanting the 4 car to miss the feature so that way he has the best chance of pretty much everybody. And the 604 car looks like he's going to dive down and head in to the infield. Something obviously wrong going with that 604 car, and that's pretty much going to be the end of his day. As 31 of Nick Pericles continues to lead, but the 4 car already passing multiple drivers already at the start. 4 car now in 5th, as the 31 and the 26 make up 1st and 2nd. Bob Shopke and Roy Bruce, this is definitely not what they wanted to see for their championship hopes. as unless something happens to the 4 car in the next couple laps or in the rest of this race, they're pretty much done, as the 4 car is the current points leader, and the other drivers, Bob Schopke and Roy Bruce, they're pretty much in jeopardy of being out of contention for the championship if the 4 car makes the feature. Looking back now, here's the race for 10th. Currently Mike Serra in the 24Y, holding that 10th spot. Getting by the 676 of Ferdinand Gabot. Carson Scott behind him as they continue to move forward through the field. As laps continue to click down, the 24Y now, I believe, is in either 10th or 9th, and is going for another spot against the 48 car of Gabriel Wanderley. And the 24Y is considered in to be 9th now, as the 25 now trying to get past the 48 car. Carson Scott hasn't been the best, but whenever he makes a feature, he usually does fairly well. Gets about average finish of maybe 10th or 11th. I'm not completely sure on that, but usually when he makes the features, he does okay. And he's trying to make another one here, as he's now trying to pass the 808 car of TJ Hanley. He is, compared to his brother and Roy Bruce, he's pretty much at the bottom of the totem pole here on that team, because he's never really had the success that the other two have. Meanwhile, one of the Fitzwaters, I believe that's Henrietta, she's the only one that did not make it to the feature event through the heat race, trying to get by the 08 car as well. The 604 of Eric Willis has been falling back pretty much throughout the entirety of the race. Another car that was actually on the pit lane was the 6 car of Matthew Brown. Matthew Brown was actually on pit road, or I guess in the pit area. He is 1 lap down, currently in 19th. Meanwhile, the G5 of Brock McMahon trying to get past the 08 of TJ Hanley. McMahon has just had a massive fall off in the last few races. Has not been able to make did not make the last feature, and pretty much finished last in the 2 features before. So obviously problems for the G5 car in just making good finishes in those feature events. Ferdinand Gabot coming back after falling back a lot throughout the field. The 76 car, also one of those drivers who's come on maybe a bit late and hasn't had the success that he really needs to. The 76 car now moving in to take away the spot from the 24Y, and now from the G5, Brock McMahon. As we're getting down to the nitty-gritty here, now he's going for the 21E of Patrick Curtis. Patrick Curtis still pretty much in the race. However, the G5 of McMahon is on that bubble. Currently in 10th. TJ Hanley might be able to make a move coming into the last lap as Lucas Tran takes the white flag. And like I said, Lucas Tran has just been charging through the field. He was able to get through and take over the lead from Nick Pericles as the checkered flag is out. Lucas Tran will win the last chance showdown. And Brock McMahon has fallen out. TJ Hanley takes the 10th spot away from Brock McMahon. And what a finish to that LCS as Lucas Tran finishes in that first spot. Nick Pericles in second. Jack Porkins in third. Definitely not what he wanted to see, as now he has to really hope that the 4-car messes up. Sam Rogers fourth. Henrietta Fitzwater fifth. Carson Scott sixth. Kyle Maxwell seventh. Eighth is Ferdinand Gabat. Ninth is Patrick Curtis. 10th is TJ Hanley. Brock McMahon continuing his slew of bad finishes in 11th. 12th is Mike Serra in the 24Y. 13th is Gabriel Wanderley. 14th is Eric Hayden in the 62V. 15th is the 5 of Joshua Jones. 16th is Cody Smart in the 2. 17th Daniel Maxwell. 18th Callum Wood in the 224 car. Matthew Brown in 19th. And Eric Willis having to go down into the pit area. Gonna finish in that 30th spot. And now it is time, as the field is set. The feature event for here at Devil's Bowl is about to get underway as we get into the starting lineups with JT Hanley and Lucas Tran making up row number 1. Definitely a good pick for the 4-car of Lucas Tran. Bob Shopke eliminated from contention, and Jack Porkins has to hope for a lot of luck in row number 2. Currently the closest in contention is the 31 of Nick Pericles. To his outside will be the 50 car of Alex Tanker. In row number 4, the 21 of Dejan Leaks and Roy Bruce in the 808, who was also eliminated from contention after the 4-car made the feature. The wife and husband of Zachary Fitzwater, Henrietta Fitzwater, will make up row number 5, as behind them is the 53 of Sam Rogers and the 83, also in contention in row 6. Jake Rogers in the 98 car and the 21E of Patrick Curtis will make up row number 7. Row number 8 will be the 8 car of Chris Dodd and the 76 car of Ferdinand Gabat. Row number 9 will be the 08 of TJ Hanley, just barely edging out the G5, and the 25 car of Carson Scott. Finally, in your last row will be the 13B of Tanya Breyer and the 12A car of Kyle Maxwell. And that'll wrap up your starting lineups for your feature event. And this is gonna get good, folks, as we get into the final feature event of the season. The 80 of JT Hanley leads him down to the stripe, and green flag is out. Hanley getting the pretty good jump that everyone else has been getting off the lead. And following him is the 334 of Bob Shopke. Shopke making a nice run to the inside of his teammate in the 4-car, but behind him is the 31 of Nick Pericles. Right now the 4-car doesn't have much to worry about, even if the 31 does pass him, because he has a 3-point lead over the 31 car. Shopke now getting by the 80 of JT Hanley. Hanley, definitely a fast car, but just cannot handle the speed that these GRTs are putting out, as Bob Shopke and Nick Pericles are going to now be able to get to the bottom side of him in turns 1 and 2, and now Nick Pericles in 3 and 4. And Nick Pericles pretty much trying to rush up to the front of the field, take over the lead, and get as many bonus points as possible, because even one bonus point could be the difference here, especially when you got 3 points to make up on the car in front of you. Here's a 59 of Zachary Fitzwater, already made up a lot of positions on the field, starting in row number 5. Behind him is the 53 of Sam Rogers, and Jake Rogers, a big jump for him as he started in, I believe, row 7. Now he's already way up into the field. Back up to your front 4. The 31 of Nick Pericles now trying to make a move on the 334 car of Bob Shopke. DW Motorsports definitely working together to try and get the 4-car that championship run. But right now Nick Pericles, he has to pretty much work on his own as the 83 car is nowhere to be seen right now. Here's the view from the 4 car of Lucas Tran. He's just basically riding out in third at the moment. Not many drivers have been able to challenge him for third place after JT Hanley ended up falling to him. And Hanley is just basically falling off the rest of the field right now. Meanwhile, there's a battle up for first between Bob Schopke and Nick Pericles. Pericles just desperately hoping that he can get the win. He's already got the bonus point for leading, but he's got to get the most laps led in his mind as well, because if he doesn't, that could mean he may not win the championship. 31 to Nick Pericles, though. We've seen him win at least one race so far, and he's done it in pretty good fashion. So, getting past the 334 car, definitely a challenge, as Bob Schopke has just been on fire these last couple events. But now the 4 car is going to try and make a move on him. Lucas Tran to the inside in turn 1, but he's just not going to be able to complete the pass. Looks like he might try it again, though, in the next turn, but the 31 car driving the wheels off of that car, because DW Motorsports has basically made a sandwich out of him. The 334 and the 4 car both trying to make that 4 car's championship run complete. But the 31 just is not having it, as Nick Pericles continuing to deny the 4 car that second place spot. Nick Pericles, though, just cannot defend and attack at the same time, and the 4 car is just coming right back at him. Turns 3 and 4, looks like there's going to be no move from the 4 car again, but we might see him dive in at 1 and 2. Nick Pericles is looking to the inside of Bob Schopke, but now the 4 car almost making contact coming out of turn 2. And Lucas Tran now to the inside of the 31 car. He's just not been able to defend enough times for the 4 car to be kept at bay. And at the same time, he must have been trying to look for a move on the 334 car, but just did not find it before the 4 car was able to get to his inside. Now Nick Pericles in a very dangerous position for his championship hopes. Now back in third behind his rival, I guess, in the 4 car of Lucas Tran. Now Nick Pericles back to the inside of the 4 car, trying to get that second spot back and possibly take over the lead from the 334 of Schopke. We're going to go to the roll bar camera view that has been pretty much a staple of Nick Pericles these last couple races. But definitely Nick Pericles in desperation trying to get by the 4 car and the 334 car. Even then, that might not be enough to propel him enough points into the points lead. As if he were to win this, he would actually have the same amount of wins, top 5s, and top 10s of Lucas Tran. However, Lucas Tran has missed 2 features, and if they do tie, Nick Pericles could take the victory from that for just making 10 out of the 11 feature events, while the 4 car of Lucas Tran has only made 9 out of the 11 events. And that Chili Bowl race could definitely haunt the 4 car here, as now the 31 car stuck in that lead position. Bob Schopke just could not defend the 31 car as much as he had hoped, and now the 31 car is in the lead. Now the 334 coming right back. You can see in that mirror that he is looking to that inside lane again. I'm going to break off from that lead group, though, to check out a driver who's pretty much surprised us in the last couple races. The 98 of Jake Rogers. He has said that he's not had the best season so far. While he is considered correct in that sense, he has still had a fairly decent season compared to his boss in the 48 car, who was not even in this race. The 98 car of Jake Rogers has a win. Was involved in a little bit of a controversial wreck with the 62V of Eric Heiden, but Jake Rogers has definitely been one of the more consistent drivers in the field when it comes to at least making the features. the most consistent of making features and finishing all the laps, that might go to Chris Dodd, as he's made his 11th feature event so far and has not gone out of any one of them. Meanwhile, Jake Rogers currently up in that 5th spot after getting passed by JT Hanley, but he has got a fast car. He has shown that he has been able to win races against these guys, and I wouldn't be surprised if Jake Rogers could potentially alter the fate of the championship here. Because definitely, if anything happens to that 4 car at this point, then the 31 gets the championship handed to him if he wins. And Jake Rogers could be looking to change the course of this championship run for that 31 car, for the better at least. And for that, you could say maybe he could be working for CJ Racing. As we hit the green flag with 2 to go, CJ Racing's Nick Pericles in the 31 car, fighting with the 334 of Bob Shopke. Both of those teams have been just at each other's throats throughout this entire race. White flag is out, and you can see the 98 got a really big run in the entrance to turn 3. He's going to try and make a move to the inside of the 4 car, while Nick Pericles is leading. In the 98 car, now to the inside of the 4, Nick Pericles, no challenge from the 334 car. He will win. And a photo finish between the 98 and the 4 car. Who took home the 3rd position? None other than Jake Rogers taking home the 3rd position as Nick Pericles wins the race. Bob Shopke finishing in 2nd. Obviously Jake Rogers in 3rd, and Lucas Trent finishing in 4th. JT Hanley 5th, Jack Porkins in 6th, Roy Bruce 7th, Zachary Fitzwater 8th, Sam Rogers in 9th, and Henrietta Fitzwater finishes in 10th. Ferdinand Gabat 11th, 12th is Alex Tanker, 13th is Tanya Brer, 14th is TJ Hanley, 15th Dejon Weeks, 16th Chris Dodd, 17th Carson Scott in that 25 car. Patrick Curtis in the 21E is in 18th. 19th is the 12A of Kyle Maxwell, and Kyle Collins had to go down into the pit area, going to finish in 20th. And now for the champions of this season for the MSCA, Norm Manteel, unsponsored Chevrolet Monte Carlo, winning the MSCA Casey's Cup Series. The German driver William Verdeman, bittersweet championship for him, as he's going to be moving back to Germany next year. And Nick Pericles, that move by Jake Rogers gives him the championship by 1 point over Lucas Tran in 2nd. And Bob Shopke, great run by him, will finish in 3rd, above Jack Porkins, who he actually tied with, but they were given a point because he had the better statistics. Roy Bruce in 5th, Kyle Collins in 6th, after starting in points 3rd. JT Hanley, Jake Rogers, Zachary Fitzwater, and Dejon Weeks make up the rest of your top 10 points. 11th goes to the 8 of Chris Dodd, a happy team owner, as his driver goes to the championship circle. Eric Willis in 12th, 13th Alex Tanker, 14th Tanya Brer in the 13B, 15th Sam Rogers, 16th Ferdinand Gabat, 17th TJ Hanley, 18th Cody Smart, 19th is Henrietta Fitzwater, and 20th is the G5 of Brock Mahan, who is just dropping off in points just dramatically in those last few races. 62V of Eric Heiden in 21st, 22nd is Mike Serra, 23rd Carson Scott, 24th Gabriel Wanderley, 25th Patrick Curtis, 26th is Joshua Jones, 27th 27th Kyle Maxwell, 28th is Daniel Maxwell, 29th is Matthew Brown, and rounding out your points field is the 224 car of Callum Wood. And that is going to be it for the MSCA Quaker State Late Model Series. Good luck to the champion of this series, Nick Pericles. Great win for him. And we'll see you guys next time in the next season of MSCA competition. So, this is actually me talking now. Thanks, guys, for whoever participated in this series. It started off really cringe, kind of like Colin's series did when he first started. But for those guys who participated, Jack, Colin, Zach, I know Jack's kind of Jack's a bit salty, but he's always going to be salty. Jake, pretty much everyone who decided to sign up, thank you guys so much for at least making this series. As for a next season, the late models will not have a next season. Maybe I might put another card pack out, but I even put on the forums that this series was not going to finish. Going to be over after this season. So what will be next will be the American Ethanol Truck Series in the next season. I've already put some stuff up on the forums, the ASA League forums. So I hope that you guys can actually turn out for that. It's pretty. I hope it turns out as well as this series did at the end, because of the fact that the quality of the videos, I think, just got a lot better as the season progressed. So, again, thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys next time in the next series. Hopefully, I'll be able to record signups next couple days. I will be on vacation the next week, and I'll also have 5 days of work next week, so probably not. But other than that, thank you guys again, and I'll see you guys next time.